Most people building a tiny home spend months agonizing over every square foot inside the house. They obsess over the kitchen layout, the loft dimensions, the bathroom size, and then they pour a plain concrete slab in the courtyard and leave it empty. That is a massive missed opportunity. If your tiny home is built in a U-shape, where two wings of the house wrap around a central outdoor space, you are sitting on what designers in 2026 are calling the secret weapon of compact living. Because that courtyard, it is not just a gap between walls. It is a room, a living room, a kitchen, a garden, a workspace, a sanctuary, all at the same time, if you know how to use it. Today I am going to show you the 5 best ways to use a U-shaped courtyard in a tiny home. These are not theoretical Pinterest concepts. These are practical, real-world strategies backed by what architects, tiny home designers, and actual homeowners are doing right now in 2026. And I promise, by the end of this video, you will look at that courtyard completely differently. Stay with me, because number 4 on this list is the one most tiny home owners overlook, and it might actually be the most valuable of all. Before we dive in, if you're new here, this channel is all about tiny homes, alternative housing, and building smart on a budget. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you do not miss a single video. It really does help this channel grow, and I appreciate every one of you who watches. Alright, let's get into it. First, let us get everyone on the same page about what we mean when we say a U-shaped tiny home. A U-shaped design is exactly what it sounds like. Your home's footprint forms a U. You have the base of the U, which is usually the main living wing, and then 2 side wings extending outward. In between those wings, right at the heart of the home, you have an open courtyard. Now this is not just a design style choice. There is real science behind why this layout works so well. According to a 2025 study published in Scientific Reports, a journal by Nature, courtyard-style homes that are properly oriented in design can reduce annual cooling energy demand by 10 to 20% compared to conventional closed layouts in hot and warm climates. Why? Because the courtyard acts as a natural thermal engine. Cool air enters from one wing, flows through the outdoor space, and warm air exits out the other side. Architects call this cross-ventilation, and it is one of the most powerful passive cooling strategies available to a homeowner, with no mechanical system required. And the benefits go way beyond just temperature. The courtyard floods every room facing it with natural daylight. It creates an outdoor space that is private, shielded on 3 sides by your own home. And it dramatically expands your functional living square footage without adding a single square foot to your floor plan. In 2026, with small house plans surging in popularity, data from houseplans.com shows that half of all house plans sold in 2025 were between 1,000 and 1,999 square feet, showing a massive shift toward right-sized living. The U-shaped courtyard design is perfectly built for this moment. So how do you actually use that space? Here are the 5 best ways. Number 1. Turn your courtyard into an outdoor living room. This is the most popular use of a U-shaped courtyard, and when it is done right, it completely transforms how tiny home living feels. Instead of feeling like you are constantly bumping into walls inside, you step out into a sheltered, private outdoor space that functions just like a living room, just without a ceiling. Here is what makes the U-shape so special for this purpose: privacy. Your courtyard is enclosed on 3 sides by your own home. Your neighbors cannot see in. Street traffic cannot see in. You get that rare combination of outdoor openness and indoor seclusion. The setup does not have to be expensive. A timber pergola overhead is one of the best investments you can make here. It delivers dappled shade, vertical visual drama, and a solid frame for hanging string lights or growing climbing plants like star jasmine or wisteria. In 2026, a professionally installed 10 by 10 pergola averages around $4,250. If you go the DIY kit route, which honestly fits the spirit of this channel, you're looking at a range of $2,300 to $4,000. And the result looks just as good. For furniture, choose pieces that are weather resistant but feel intentional, not like leftover camping chairs. In 2026, outdoor design is trending toward powder-coated metal frames with sealed cushions and teak or aluminum for tables and benches. Teak remains the gold standard for looks and durability, but aluminum has become the value champion. It is weather-resistant, lighter than wood, and significantly cheaper, which makes it a smart pick for a tiny home budget. Add a fire feature, and this space becomes a four-season living room. Fire draws people outdoors long after the evening chill sets in. One important safety note here: most 2026 local codes require a 15-foot clearance for portable fire pits from any combustible structure. In a U-shaped courtyard, that distance can be tight, so measure before you buy and check your local requirements. When in doubt, a tabletop bioethanol fire bowl is a stylish, code-friendly alternative that works even in smaller courtyards. One pro tip: use your courtyard wall surfaces. The interior walls of your U-shape are essentially an outdoor gallery. Think climbing plants trained along trellises, wall-mounted outdoor lighting, or a living wall with drought-tolerant succulents or native herbs. These surfaces transform a plain concrete courtyard into something that feels genuinely designed. The result? Your tiny home stops feeling tiny. Instead of 400 square feet, you effectively have an outdoor living room, adding hundreds more square feet of functional, beautiful space to your daily life. Number 2. Build your outdoor kitchen and dining zone in the courtyard. For tiny homeowners, an outdoor kitchen is not a luxury. It is a practical solution to one of tiny living's biggest pain points. The indoor kitchen feels cramped the moment you're cooking a real meal. A U-shaped courtyard is the perfect location for a compact outdoor cooking station. You are not exposed to the street. You have shelter from the surrounding home walls. And if you position a pass-through window from your indoor kitchen to the courtyard, which architects increasingly recommend, you essentially double the size of your functional cooking and prep space. What does a realistic courtyard kitchen look like for a tiny home? It does not need to be elaborate. In 2026, the trend for compact outdoor kitchens is heavily toward modular units. Brands like IKEA's Grillskar line have brought the entry price down dramatically. A basic modular setup, a grill station plus a prep table, now starts in the range of $600 to $1,200. That is a remarkably low investment for the amount of functional space it adds. For surfaces, sealed quartz and powder-coated metal remain the top choices in 2026 for weather resistance and longevity. Under a pergola or a simple shade structure, this setup looks intentional and works hard every day. Here is a design move that is trending heavily right now: combining your outdoor kitchen with a working herb garden. Raised cedar planters arranged around your cooking station mean fresh basil, rosemary, or cilantro are literally 3 steps away while you cook. It is practical and beautiful at the same time. For the dining side, you do not need a large table. In a compact courtyard, a built-in bench along one wall with a simple freestanding table creates an intimate dining nook that seats 4 to 6 people comfortably. That is far more than most tiny home dining rooms could ever accommodate indoors. One important note on outdoor kitchens: if you are considering gas appliances, check your local building codes first. Regulations vary significantly by municipality. Electric grills and induction burners are often more permit-friendly, and in 2026 they are genuinely good. Bottom line, your courtyard turns cooking and eating into an experience rather than a chore. That is a daily quality of life upgrade that no interior renovation could replicate. Number 3. Use the courtyard as your private micro-garden. One of the things tiny home living trades away is the backyard garden. You do not have the sprawling lawn with raised beds and fruit trees. But a U-shaped courtyard gives you something arguably better: a protected, private growing space that is shielded from wind on 3 sides and easy to access from every room. The U-shape is ideal for growing food and plants for a couple of key reasons. First, you can engineer your light exposure intentionally. South-facing courtyards in the Northern Hemisphere get the most sunlight, which is ideal for vegetables and sun-loving herbs. East-facing courtyards get gentle morning light, which suits ferns, shade plants, and delicate herbs. Understanding how your courtyard is oriented lets you plant with purpose, not guesswork. Second, the enclosed nature of the U gives you a natural microclimate. Wind is reduced. Temperature extremes are softened. Plants that might struggle in an exposed location often thrive in a sheltered courtyard, extending your growing season on both ends of the calendar. In 2025 and 2026, garden designers are emphasizing native and pollinator-friendly planting for small courtyard spaces. Dwarf salvias, coneflowers, lavender, and compact fruit trees are top recommendations for tiny courtyard gardens. These plants are lower maintenance, attract local pollinators, and look genuinely beautiful year-round. For the structure of a tiny home courtyard garden, vertical is your best friend. A trellis system along one interior wall can grow climbing beans, cucumbers, or flowering vines without using floor space. A few raised cedar planter boxes at different heights create a layered garden feel even in a very small footprint. And container planting in well-chosen pots is endlessly flexible. You can rearrange the whole garden with the seasons. There is also something here that does not get talked about enough: mental health. Research consistently shows that access to green space and time spent in a garden reduces stress and improves overall well-being. For tiny home dwellers, where indoor space is constrained, having a lush, living courtyard right outside your door provides that daily nature connection that matters enormously over months and years. Your courtyard garden is not just decoration. It is a functional, productive, mood-improving part of your home that works for you every single day. Your courtyard is a passive climate control system. Here's what I mean. In a standard rectangular tiny home, managing temperature is a constant battle. Small spaces heat up fast and cool down slowly. The square footage that makes tiny homes affordable and efficient also makes them thermally challenging. A U-shaped courtyard fundamentally changes that equation. When the open end of your U faces prevailing breezes, ideally the south and the northern hemisphere for passive solar in winter, your home becomes a natural ventilation machine. Cool air is drawn into the courtyard. As it moves through the space, it creates pressure differentials that pull air through rooms on either side of the U. Hot air rises and exits. Architects call this the chimney effect or stack effect ventilation, and it is one of the most powerful passive cooling strategies available. A 2025 study published in Scientific Reports, using nearly 29,000 parametric building simulations across multiple climate types, found that well-designed courtyard buildings can reduce annual cooling energy demand by 10 to 20% in hot and warm climates. That is real, measurable energy savings every single year, without any mechanical system. For tiny homeowners who are off-grid or solar-powered, this is even more significant. Lower cooling loads mean a smaller solar array and battery system, which directly reduces your upfront build cost. But the passive climate benefits go beyond cooling. In winter, a south-facing courtyard captures low-angle sunlight and funnels it into your home through courtyard-facing windows. The U.S. Department of Energy notes that well-oriented south-facing windows can deliver meaningful passive solar heating during cold months, reducing your heating load without any added technology. How do you set this up right? A few practical principles. Orient the open end of your U to face south if you are in a cold or temperate climate. In hot climates, orient it toward the direction of prevailing cooling breezes. Position windows on both sides of each room facing the courtyard, so air has a clear pathway through. And do not close off the open end of the U with a solid fence. You need that airflow entry point. One more layer. Plant deciduous trees or pergola train vines at the open end of your courtyard. In summer, they provide shade and reduce heat gain. In winter, when the leaves drop, they let low-angle sunlight back in. It is a seasonal climate strategy that requires zero energy and zero ongoing cost. Get your courtyard orientation right, and you build a home that largely regulates itself. That saves you money, saves you energy, and keeps you comfortable year-round. This is the detail worth getting right before you break ground. Number 5. Make your courtyard your flexible multi-use zone. Here is the reality of tiny home living in 2026. The people doing it most successfully are not the ones who have the cleverest fold-down furniture inside. They are the ones who have designed their outdoor space to flex with them throughout the day. A U-shaped courtyard, because it is private and enclosed, can shift between uses within a single day. In the morning, it is a yoga or movement space, a clean, calm outdoor room where you can stretch without anyone watching. Mid-morning, you pull out a foldable desk and a weatherproof chair, and it becomes your outdoor home office with natural light, fresh air, and the mental clarity you simply cannot replicate inside 400 square feet. By afternoon, it is a creative studio, a reading nook, a play zone for kids. In the evening, you light the fire, open a bottle of something cold, and it is your dinner party venue, comfortably seating 8 people, which your indoor space absolutely cannot do. The 2026 Tiny Home Design Trend data backs this up. Researchers are noting growing demand for what they're calling adaptable outdoor rooms, spaces without a fixed purpose that serve whatever the homeowner needs on any given day. In compact living situations, that kind of flexibility is not a nice to have. It is essential. The key to making this work is the surface design. Choose a courtyard floor that is comfortable for multiple uses. Porcelain pavers or brushed concrete are excellent base surfaces. They are flat, durable, easy to clean, and neutral enough to work under a yoga mat, a dining table, or outdoor furniture without looking wrong. Avoid large gravel as your main surface if you want true multi-use flexibility. It is uncomfortable underfoot and difficult to move furniture across. Lighting is the other major factor. Well-designed courtyard lighting transforms the space after dark and dramatically extends how many hours per day you actually use it. Layer 3 types: ambient overhead from string lights or a pergola fixture, task lighting for the kitchen or work zone, and accent lighting from low garden stakes or wall-mounted fixtures that make the space feel warm and dimensional at night. With the right surface and the right lighting, your courtyard is usable from early morning to late evening. That is a lot of life squeezed out of space that too many tiny home builders leave empty. Quick recap. Number 1, the outdoor living room. 3-sided privacy, a pergola overhead, a fire feature, and intentional furniture that makes it feel like a real room. Number 2, the courtyard kitchen and dining zone. A pass-through window from your indoor kitchen, a modular outdoor cooking setup starting around $600, and a built-in dining nook that seats more people than your indoor space ever could. Number 3, the microgarden. A sheltered, climate-buffered growing space with raised beds, vertical trellises, and native plants that feed your table, attract pollinators, and genuinely support your mental health. Number 4, the passive climate system. Orient your U correctly. Position your windows for cross-ventilation, and your courtyard literally reduces your heating and cooling costs every single year. This is the one worth getting right before you break ground. And number 5, the flexible multi-use zone. Morning yoga, midday home office, evening dinner party. One space, multiple uses if you design the surface and the lighting right. One more thing before I let you go. In 2026, homes with defined outdoor living spaces are seeing roughly 7 to 10% higher resale values compared to similar homes with just a plain lawn. So you're not just building a better place to live, you're building equity. If you found this video useful, drop a comment below and tell me which of these 5 is the one you're most excited about. I read every single one, and if you have not already, subscribe to this channel. We put out honest, research-backed content on tiny homes and alternative housing every week. No fluff, no hype. I will see you in the next one.